Greetings, my name is Harry Jacobs and I am the North of 60 Gamer, and welcome to my North of 60 Gaming channel. Today we're going to look at things very tiny. And we're going to move into the tiny epic Galaxies. This is part of my series of bringing people into the hobby and teaching you filler and gateway games that will entertain you, bring some fun, and teach you to teach your friends and family this wonderful hobby that we belong to. The last game in this series, which I will link in the thumbnails at the very end, was Castle Ravenloft, which of course was a dungeon crawling adventure based on the 4th edition Dungeons and Dragon rules. I had a lot of fun with it. I lost on the very last dice roll. If that dice roll didn't go bad for me, I would have won. But today, we're going to look at a different mechanic, and we're going to be looking at dice rolling and dice manipulation and a little resource management in a very tiny way. So without further ado, we're going to go through the usual. Now, there will not be an unboxing here. I'm going to open it up, and we're going to go right to the components, and then I'm going to show you the setup, and then we're going to play. You can play this game solo or with friends, up to 4 or 5 players. I don't remember which. I think 5, but it could be 4. Hey, let me look at the box. I'm blind. I can't see it on the box. There it is. 1 to 5. I did get it right. Plays in about 30 to 45 minutes. Ages 14 plus. I think you could probably do a 12-year-old very easy on this. So let's, without further ado, go and look at Tiny Epic Galaxies. So here we are. There is the Tiny Epic box. Let me put my hands here. You can see how small this box is. What is that? 5 by 7 almost, a 5 by 7 box. It is from Gameland Games by Scott Almes. This is my go-to for the Tiny Epic series when I travel, just because of the size. Even solo, I can put it out on a small table. I cannot say that for some of the other Tiny Epic games. So let's in the box. I'm sure you're curious to what's in the box. As you can see, it fits in a single box. Now, I do have an expansion that we are not going to be playing today. I want to just teach you this because this is one of the best gateway games. Small box, easy to set up, easy to teach, and you can see the rules are on top. There are the different components that you have. I can't bring this up too much because the fact is that I've focused in a little bit. So there are our components. Here are our game boards. The game boards come 2 different sides. As you can see, this is a red player, and this is the player board. On the other side is for solo play. None of these are asymmetrical, so everybody who plays is going to start the same way. However, I cannot say the same thing for solo. Each one of these solo backs give you a different level of challenge. Some are easier than others. This is the activation board. We'll be using this activation board to help us keep track of the dice that we use. Now, there's a couple of good concepts in this game that are used in other more complicated games, and this is what makes this game a good filler, is because there are other mechanics in here that are used in games that are a little heavier than this. So I just want to start teaching you to realize that we can build and bring you into more complicated games by playing these really fun filler games. This is one of the best fun games I have in terms of filler. Easy to teach. The components, you can see we have secret missions. Each player will get 2 secret missions and will choose one, and they hopefully will get some points at the end of the game for fulfilling that secret mission. These are our Empire tokens. You can tell by the star at the top. And what the Empire tokens do is allow us to track our level of our Empire. As our Empire grows, so does the number of resources and the ships that we can have. This is our energy markers. You can see by the energy zap sign. We have our rocket ships, and everybody will get 4, but you only start off with 2 to start with. The meeples are nice. I love the quality. This is your culture token. Culture tokens will trigger things like rerolls of dice, or is that the energy token, or upgrades to our board. These are the dice, and you can see the dice have various things on the different sides. And I'm going to show you what each one of these does through the play of the game. And of course, this is our deck of planets. And again, we are going to show you, there's one on the top. It's a bit shiny. Let me just turn the light off. Doop. It's a bit shiny, but we're going to go show you more of these cards as we go along and set the game up and explain how this all works together. In the box, you can see there's an explanation of all the icons and the things that you can do with the dice. On the top is a dice tray. Now we're probably going to roll over here, and as you can see, I've got my magic mat over here that will allow me to roll the dice, and so that you can see what I'm rolling, or I might just bring it up here, and that depends on how I'm feeling. So without further ado, let's go to a setup, and I'm going to show you how the game sets up and plays, and then we're going to get right into the play. This game shouldn't be too long. I don't know whether it's going to be one part or two parts, but we'll cross that bridge, and I will let you know through the game. If I make mistakes, watch for the subtitles. If you think I made a mistake, put them in the comments, and then I can put them into our Klingon channel at the marker of which you specify. I don't think I'll be making many mistakes, but with me, you never know. So typically what I try to do when I play through is to try to give you the same experience that you would have. So this is not polished. I am not scripting this, so anything I say that blurts out of my mouth is what blurts out of my mouth. I have nothing around me that I am reading, and so this is au naturel. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you do enjoy this type of stuff, please consider subscribing, liking, and getting notifications. We'll talk more of that in Final Thoughts. Anyway, let's get to the setup. As you can see, we have the setup is complete. Up here is our planets, and the first thing we're going to do is have 2 more planets than the number of players, so therefore we're going to put 5 planets out. And we'll talk about the planets as we go along in the game. But each one of these planets we're going to try to colonize and make use of their special abilities. We can do that at any time. You can see there are a couple of planets out here, and we will talk about the planets and how we colonize those as we go along. They are worth a number of victory points. This is a race game. The first person to reach 21 points is the winner and will trigger the end game, at which point then we'll determine whether or not we've completed our secret missions, we've gone up our track, because there are victory points here, and that will be the end of the game. The first person who reaches 21 points, as you said, is not scripted. I'm just going to show you a little closer view of the board. Here's our planet, and this is where our ships will be stored. And if you look at the green very closely, or the black, you can see them there. The blue is a little hard to see. I've tried to choose colors that you can see on the boards. Very difficult, partly because of the lighting, and partly because I wanted to make sure that if anybody was colorblind, that they could see and didn't have red, blue, or green, yellow, or is it red, green, blue, yellow? Anyway, along here is our tracker, and this is going to upgrade our planet, and the way we upgrade it is spending either a amount of energy or culture based on the number here sitting here in our tracker. So to go from the start to this spot would be 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. At different areas we're going to get different things. So when we go up to the 2, we'll roll 5 dice. We all start rolling 4 dice. When we get up to the 3, we're going to put our rocket ship on, another rocket ship. You can just see the rocket ship here on the 3 spot and on the 5 spot. Today we have our knight, our bard, and our dragon, and they're ready to fight it out and see who the ruler of the galaxy is. You can see we have our activation bay right here, and we'll just bring that up. So the activation bay will explain what each one of the dice is responsible for. You can have up to 6 dice, and of course you can actually convert. So you could take 2 dice and convert it into any facing. You may see this during the game. It is not a very efficient move because you have to use 2 dice to get 1 result. That is the setup, except for the last thing that we're going to do is purple and green have already chosen their secret missions, and I'm going to move myself out of the way here once I finish the explanation. So we have either noble or orbital. So the orbital says gain 2 points if you have all your ships on the galaxy mat at the end of the game. That means all my ships have to be here by the end of the game. Gain 3 points if you have the most planets. If you're tied, most planets, you only get 2, but that's 3 plus players only. So we are put 3. This one's a tough one. I think I'm going to go to be the orbital, orbiter. So I will have to have all my ships back to gain 2 points at the end of the game. And then we're going to explain the rest of them as they see. We don't know what they are, and I'm not going to show you till the end of the game, so you can be as surprised as I am. But that is it. We are ready to go. The game is set up. We have our handy dice lid here. I may toss the dice here, but we will be rolling the dice, and so you can see the rolls so that you can see I am not doing something strange and magical. But anyway, yes, I know. I'm supposed to be explaining. I'm having more fun doing it than that. But gaming is fun, and it's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be work. Even when I'm content creating, I don't want it to be work. I want you to see me having fun. Because if you don't see me having fun, you're going to go like, oh, if he looks like he's having fun, I'm not going to have fun. Why should I play this? We don't want you doing that. So, without any further ado, we're going to get to play this game, and may the best civilization win. So we have ready to start. We have selected our secret missions. So when you select a secret mission, everybody is dealt out 2, and the players select 1. You can see we are playing from the perspective of the knight, and he is the orbiter, and his is to gain 2 points if you have all your ships on the galaxy mat at the end of the game. This is the galaxy mat. This is their galaxy. So he needs to have all his ships there. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put out our 5 planets. 1, 2, 3. The rule is 3 planets, 1 for each of the player plus 2. As you can see, I will bring your planet up. This is Gort. It produces energy, and when players move their ship, they will start here at the track and they will go up the track using the economy. Once they reach the end space, they will actually colonize the planet. At any time, a ship could actually land on the planet and actually take the action. This action is move one of your ships to another colony track at equal level. That's very strong. As for the colony boards, you can see the ships are in the middle of the galaxy. We both start with 2. We start with 2 energy, 1 culture. The colony track starts at the beginning here, and it will go up. And you have to spend 2 of any one kind of resource to move up, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. At the different spaces, I'll bring up yellow here. You can see that we'll get ships at 3 and 5, and we'll get an ever-increasing amount of dice and an ever-increasing amount of victory points. This is a race game. You are looking for 21 points. The first person that gets 21 points is going to trigger the end game. Well, you have an equal number of rounds, and at the end of that, the person with the most points, which is basically your planets, and you can see the victory points here, 5, 3, 2, 7, 7, plus what's on your tracker, plus any of your secret missions. And that is the game. Basically, we're going to roll dice, and I'm going to explain to you all the different symbols as we get there. And the game will get faster as we go. So we're not going to play a full game. Probably we will play 20, 30 minutes at tops. Hopefully we'll see everything that there is to see. And hopefully you would consider this for your collection. So let's get started. The first player up is going to be the knight. And we're going to roll the dice. He gets 4 dice to start. And let's get into it. Okay, so it is Blue's turn. He gets to roll 4 dice. He has 3 economy actions, which do him absolutely no good, and a colony action. I don't think he's liking that. You do get 1 free reroll, and we are opposite the way we are. We're supposed to start with 2 energy. He had it the other way. So we're going to reroll. We get 1 free reroll. Oh, this is not good at all. He had 1 energy, which is before it fell over. An economy and 2 diplomacy. If I show you this, I'll just put them in the dice roll. So he has absolutely nothing because he has no ships to move and no colonies to pull energy from. So he's going to spend one of his energies to re-roll his dice again. This is not a good start for Blue. At least he gets a ship now. I think we can work with this. Not well. He's going to take a rocket ship. This is what the little arrow symbol is, a rocket ship. We can make an rocket ship. Because he has 2 culture, he is going to go to a planet that has culture. So he's going to zoom over to here. He's really going to want an economy planet because he has an economy. But, yeah, right there. And it has a culture. Does anybody want to follow along? Black says, absolutely, I'm going to follow along here. And green says, yes, I'm going to follow along there. To follow along, it does cost you a culture action. Just to get onto the board, he's going to go over here. Next up is he's going to actually use 2 culture. And you can see he has a culture planet now, so he's going to get a bump up on his culture. Now he has 3 and 1 energy. And nobody can follow along because everybody has already spent their culture. And then he has an economy action. Economy actions and diplomacy actions just move your ships. That's all they do. Next up is the Bard. He does get to roll. And we didn't start these at the beginning. A little leftover from the last sort of practice run that we did. He has a ship, 2 diplomacy, and a culture. So he's going to take his ship. He's not on it, so he's going to look for a culture planet. He says, okay, I'm going to take that quick one real quick because of diplomacy. So that is his ship. The only one that has a follow-along action because he has a culture is the Knight. So he is going to take one of his ship and he's going to put it on one of the energy planets just so they can have some energy. So he's going to move his ship. We have 2 diplomacy. And right there. So Black is going to move up his ship twice on the diplomacy track. Nobody has a follow action because nobody has a culture. We have 1 culture. He's going to move his culture up 1. He did not get to upgrade his movement or his colony at this turn. I like to get those colonies upgraded very, very quickly. Gives you more flexibility. So if we look at that, we have 2 colony upgrades, a culture and a diplomacy. So green is he on a diplomacy planet? He is not. So green says, you know, I'm going to keep this aside. I'm going to re-roll the other 3 dice. He really would like to get an economy. He's got a rocket ship, which is good. Let's see if he can work with this a little bit. So he does have a rocket ship. So he's going to move his rocket ship, and he is already on an energy planet. So he's going to go onto a culture planet. He has a diplomacy. So he's going to move 1 up on the ship. Well, blue has a follow-along action. And he is not on any colony, economic diplomacy. So he can't do it. Purple has already spent his. So green is good to go. He has 2 upgrade actions. He could spend, so he's going to spend his 2 energy to upgrade his planet. So he's going to have 5 dice next turn. And unfortunately, he has another action for his colony, and he can't really do anything with it. So it's just going to go to waste. So let's go. This is our next round. We still only have 4 dice for our blue player. He's going to roll the dice. What do we have there? It looks like we have 2 rocket actions, a energy, and a upgrade action. First thing he's going to do is he's going to use the upgrade action. He is going to spend his 2 culture points to move up 1, so he'll have 5 dice next turn. He has no culture for follow along. He doesn't have enough energy to fire off a culture, so we're good. We do not need a rocket ship, so he's going to do that for free. Blue loves the idea of getting some energy. He has a planet with energy, so he is going to move his energy up 1. We have another rocket ship, so he's going to roll these dice for free this time. We have a culture action, which he says, okay, that's good. So he bumps that up 1 because he has a culture planet. He really hasn't moved along, and does he want to spend an energy to re-roll this dice? Because if he gets nothing, he's got wasted the energy. I think he says, you know, we'll just hang for this turn and hope for the best. The only one capable, we have some follow actions on if we can. Both the knight and the dragon have enough to do a follow action if they need it. We have a rocket for our bard. He doesn't need that at the moment. We have 2 diplomacy and an economy. So he says, I'm good with that. So he's going to take this diplomacy action. He's going to move up to the last space. His ship comes back. Now, what we do when we colonize is he has colonized Helios. And its economy action says discard an unoccupied planet in the middle and replace it with a new planet. That sounds like an interesting screw you mechanism. So we put it under there, and now he has an extra action. We will immediately pull another flight. Now he has 2 points. So in the rules, he does have to mention that he has 2 points. It says, I've got 2 points. He hasn't upgraded yet. Black has a economy action to go, so he is going to bump himself up on this planet. He has the rocket action now. So he says, you know, I might as well be alone here. And he has a diplomacy, which he can't use, but he does allow to have 1 reroll. So he says, let me reroll. And it's an economy action. Black says, fantastic. We're just going to move right up there. Puts that on there. That is the end of his turn. Green comes along. As you can see, he is now 2. So he actually has 5 dice to roll this time, as will the knight next turn. There we go. We have 2, looks like 2 diplomacy, economy, and 2 upgrades. So let's just see what we have for our green player. Economy, he says, okay, I'm going to start there. He goes 1 up on the economy track there. Green says, whew, or I should say blue, has both on economy, but I think he says, no, he says I'd like to collect some resources. Green says the same thing. He's pretty safe over here. We have 2 diplomacy actions. Green, does he have a diplomacy plan? He does. So he's going to take 2 diplomacy actions. 1, 2, and he's winging his way up on this planet. He has 2 upgrades to his colony, but they're not very useful. So he is going to he's going to fire off. He does have a culture, which is good because he has 1 there. So he's going to go up 1. Does he want to he doesn't have any energy. So he is done, and he doesn't have any ships to fire off because the last one is a ship. So his turn is done. We come across to our bard, or our knight, I should say. And then he rolls 5 dice, as you know, because he is on the 2 colony tracker. He'd like to get 1 more energy if he can in order to maybe trigger that, get another ship. The more ships, the more energy. Okay, off he goes. We have a ship action, which is not very useful for him at the moment. A diplomacy action, 2 energies, a culture, and a diplomacy. Whew. Now, green can follow along if he needs to. Unfortunately, purple, our bard, cannot, which may or may not be. So let's just see. I don't think he's going to get a planet back, but we don't know that yet. He may re-roll the rocket. He does need energy, and he does have an energy planet. The blue has an energy planet here, so he is going to grab, the first thing he's going to do is grab an energy. Second thing he's going to do is grab another energy. Well, we have 2 energies here. Green is on an energy planet as well, but he's only switching culture for energy, so it doesn't really make another sense. Blue is going to go up on the culture track 1. And does he have a anybody on a diplomacy planet? He does not, so he's going to use his reroll. His 2 reroll for his ship, because he's not got any ships back. He's got an economy and a diplomacy, so he's going to trigger off the diplomacy to go up on this planet here, and he's going to go up here on this planet. That is his turn. We are now to the bard. So what we're trying to do in this is just show you some of the mechanics But you can see how quickly it goes. This game is very, very quick. Unfortunately, our bard hasn't really done a good job at upgrading anything. There you go. So the first thing he's going to do is he says, I am going to take an upgrade action. So he's going to spend his 2 energy to upgrade, so he too can have 5 dice next turn. So he has no energy and no culture. But he is on an energy planet. Oh, so follow along. Green says, I don't have enough to upgrade. He would need 3. However, Blue says, I'm going to spend the culture, and I'm going to spend 3 energy. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to upgrade. That gives me an extra ship. Yay for the knight. Next thing up is a diplomacy planet, and he is not on any diplomacy planet. He may re-roll that. He is on an energy planet 2 times, so actually he gets to go up twice. 1, 2. We'll just put that on the activity board. Let's see if he's going an economy planet. He is. He's just going to keep moving. He's the only one on that track, so let's see if he can finish this off. He says, I'm going to re-roll the 1 dice. And it's a rocket ship, which is not very useful. He doesn't want to really spend an energy at this point. So his turn is done. Our green player is now going to roll his dice. And that is, of course, the dragon. Who wouldn't want to play against a dragon? It's kind of almost like Star Trek. What was Lizard Spock, Big Bang Theory kind of thing? So we have, looks like an energy, 2 upgrades, a rocket ship, and a diplomacy. Let's just see what we got here. So green says, oh, diplomacy, perfect. And of course you can play the dice in any order. We'll just take these out, which is good. So he's going to get his rocket ship back. And this is Sargus 34. And it has a special power. Pay 1 energy to a player to utilize one of their colonized planets. That's pretty good. And he again will slip this under the board to be used later. Now that he has a ship, we will put out another planet. He will take off. He's got that. He's going to try for culture. Oh, he might be better off with an energy planet. So he can grab, well, culture is what he really needs because he already has 2 culture here, actually. So he's going to go there. Or actually, he needs an energy planet. He's already on this planet. Okay, he's going to go over here, make a bit of a race for it. Because what he's going to do now is he's going to take this energy action. He is going to actually get 2 energy. He can trigger something. So he is actually going to do this. He is going to spend an energy to take a colony action of another player. So he's going to give this bard an energy. And he's going to play this. Discard an... Okay, he can't because it's not unoccupied. So he can have his energy back. He's not going to play that. He's going to roll his 2... And he got 2 rocket ships. Were absolutely useless. He says, you know what? I'm going to spend an energy for a reroll. There he has something a little bit better at least. He says he has a diplomacy and he has no diplomacy planets. So that is no use and the upgrade is no use. Now, he could make use of this interesting one, but the problem is he needs another dice for that. And he maybe should have kept back his energy. So he's pretty much dead in the water. He doesn't want to really use his last energy. Which means we're going to come back to our bard who now has an extra ship, but not a lot of energy. So he does have a rocket ship, and he will blast off to a unoccupied planet. He can't do a follow action. He doesn't have a rocket ship, so we don't have to worry about that. Blue does not have anything on a diplomacy planet, so this is not very useful to him at this point. Blue has culture on this planet and this planet, so he's going to play a culture, and he's going to get bumped up 1, 2. He's going to play another culture. He goes 1, 2, which is good. He could do another upgrade. And then blue has an energy. So he's actually going to do an energy planet. He's going to bump up his energy. He's doing very, very well. But he doesn't have a diplomacy. He will take his 1 reroll. And it's an economy planet, which is good. He's going to start bumping up this track here if he can. And that is it. Nobody follows along. Everybody rolls 5 dice now. Blue is really hoping to upgrade next turn, hopefully. Or perhaps even this turn, if that opportunity comes. Our Bard has no rocket ship, so he'll probably re-roll that. Our Bard has no culture planets, so he's going to re-roll that. He has no rocket ships. He could take an action, but he cannot do anything. So he just says, I'm going to have to re-roll everything. That's too bad for our Bard. What does the Bard have now? The Bard has an energy. He has 2 energy planets. So he says that works out well for me, because that will give him 2 energy. He will now do an upgrade. He can actually do an upgrade action now. Nobody, there he goes. And this is what Blue's been waiting for. So he takes an upgrade action. So he's going to go back 1, 2, 3. He does get another ship. He does not have enough energy for an upgrade action. Blue would have to spend a culture. And then 4 to upgrade to the next. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So he is now bumped up. He will actually have 6 dice. He has no planets, but he has 3 points here. We have 2 points, plus 2 is 4. 5 plus 1 is 6. And that is where we are right now. Black has... so let's go. 2 diplomacy. Does he have a diplomacy planet? He does not. Does he have a culture planet? He does not. He rolls. Wow, that is not helpful. But Black does have 2 energy planets. That's good. So he's going to bump this up 1, 2. But unfortunately, he has a culture planet. He could spend 1 energy to re-roll. He says, I'm going to spend an energy to re-roll. Ah, that's much better. So he does have an economy action. So he says, oh man, I'm going to take this planet real quick. His spaceship comes back. He colonizes Bishop. If you follow this turn, acquire a energy per follow. Well, that's good, but unfortunately he has nothing to trigger it with. That's not true, actually. So he's actually going to spend his last die, and let's just put a orange there just to say I'm going to do it. And then green, can green follow along with an upgrade action? He cannot. Blue cannot. So really, that's not going to help anything. So it is now the green player. We are going to give a new... Oh, a nice big one, too. Ooh. So we have a rocket ship dice. That's not very helpful. We have 2 diplomacy, and he is not on any diplomacy planet, is he? No, he is not. We have 2 culture, and it doesn't have a planet with any of the culture. So we have a big swish. So there's no sense hanging on to anything. See what we got this time. We have 2 energy, which is nice, actually. So he's going to produce energy. He's on 2 energy planet, which means he's going to get 2, giving him a total of 3. He's going to give himself 2 more energy. 1, 2, giving him a total of 5. He is not on any culture planet, and he is on an economy planet, though. So he's going to bump himself here, and he's going to spend an energy to re-roll these 2 dice, because if he gets an economy, and which he does, and a rocket ship, he is in good shape. He says, I'm going to take this economy action. Blues comes back to his own galaxy. Green comes back to his own galaxy. Green picks up another planet, which is Pembertonian Major. Convert any number of culture into energy. Wow, that would give you a fair bit of culture if you want to do follow actions or energy to reroll. And he's going to take his last rocket option. Let's just see what comes up. Another energy planet. Some big ones. He's going up on a big one. Actually, he'll take the moderate one. He has enough to do an upgrade action if it comes along. He's got some follow-up actions. Unfortunately, That was the green's turn. We're back to blue. Again, you can see I don't really remove the red ones. Blue now has, as I said, 6 dice. Wow. But this is how this game plays. It just keeps playing on and on and on until there's 21 points. So we have 2 diplomacy, 2 culture, 3 culture, and a energy. Blue has absolutely, yes, he has culture planets. So he says for his first action, he's actually going to take a culture planet here and a culture planet here to move up. Sorry. 1, 2. He says, I'm going to do the same thing. 1, 2. He's going to do it again. 1, 2. And this is excellent for him. Now, he has no diplomacy planets, so he's going to re-roll those. He does have an energy planet, but he isn't on an energy planet, so he will roll 3 dice. That's not too bad. He's got lots of culture, though, so this culture would be wasted because he's at the top of his track and he has no diplomacy. He says, you know what, I'll spend 1 energy to re-roll my dice. Not as helpful, but let's just see what we got here. We have an economy planet. So blue says, excellent. Doesn't really want to follow along here. Green has some opportunities, but I think he's looking for something a little bit more than just spending resources to gain resources. So the rocket ship is a good action. He's going to blast off over to here. And the blue, he could do a culture action, but it would be wasted, but at least he's at the top now. So he's at the very top. He's in a great spot for follow-along actions right now. We are going back to our 5 dice for our bird. He's got some options here. Both his ships are there, so he's really going to be looking for a ship action for sure. Did he get a ship action? He did. He got it 1 ship action. So he's going to blast off. And he has 5 points. He's going to see if he can grab a quick planet, if he can. Okay, he has a energy action, which is good, because he will bump up on the energy track. He says, I'm going to bump up on the energy track again. He's getting that from this planet over here. He has a culture, 2 culture actions, which is here. That puts him in a great spot if somebody picks up a upgrade action this turn. Now, if you don't play a dice at the end of your turn, if there's a dice left over, the players still get to follow along, even if you don't, as if you took that action. So even if you don't take that action, they still have the option. It is now Green's turn. He has a rocket ship action, which isn't very useful to him. He really wouldn't mind a upgrade action, but let's just see what he has here. He has an energy action. I think he'd like to get to an upgrade action, so he's going to try to hang on to that one. He can't use the rocket action. He really doesn't have a diplomacy action. Culture action, he has 1. He says, okay, I'm going to start with a culture action so I can just get that up on the track. An economy planet, he says, that's fantastic. He's going to go up on an economy planet. He'd like to get this one. And he says, I'm going to reroll my dice. He's really hoping for an upgrade action at this point as well. And he has 3 ships, which he doesn't have. He's going to spend an energy to reroll those 3 dice. Okay, well, we do have a rocket action, which isn't helpful, but he does have the upgrade action. Unfortunately, does he have a culture? He doesn't have a culture planet, which doesn't help him. Because you could take an upgrade action for 3. Perfect. So he says, I'm going to take this upgrade action. I am going to spend my 3 energy, because I want to keep my culture for rerolls. I'm going to bump up here. He's going to get his rocket ship, which is wonderful. Then he can then take his rocket ship, blast off. He's going to be looking for a culture planet, which is right here. And then he's going to play this last dice to bump himself up on the culture. So he's in good shape to actually next turn take advantage of perhaps a upgrade action. Okay, this is how this game continues on and on and on until 21 points. I don't think we need to show you the whole game. So what happens at the end of the game basically is that we are going to declare at 21 points. We're going to finish off the turn order. And then we are going to count points. The simplest way to count points are you're going to start with your planets. In this case, he has 3. He has 8. You're going to look at your marker where your marker is. In this case, he has 2. He has 2. And then he's going to look. They're going to look at their mission cards, and if they've made their secret mission cards, they will add those points. And then whoever has the most points is the victorious king of the universe of his galaxies, because he's colonized all these planets. But that is as simple as this game goes. This is a nice little game to bring with you when you travel. In my case, I'm going out to this afternoon. I may be overnight. It might be a great opportunity to have a small game. This game is soloable. If we turn over our card, like I showed you earlier, this is the solo cards, and this plays slightly different than the normal game. But that is Tiny Epic Galaxies. If you like what you saw, hit the like, subscribe to my channel, get notifications by ringing the bell. This is a great little game. I've had it for a number of years. I think it came out in 2015. I could be wrong. Let's just turn the box over. Yep, 2016, 2017. There are about 5 or 6 of these in the series now. I think I explained that earlier. So that is it. I'm going to go back. We're going to get this up on the internet. That is all I'm going to say today, guys. Thank you very much for visiting. You may not see a video for a bit. Unfortunately, I'm going in for a little surgery today. Nothing major, and I expect to be back today, but I will probably be off for a week. So I may be able to, if I feel to get to the table, I may be able to get here. If not, we will see you when we see you. Have a blast, folks, and play games.